Hello, and welcome to Cryptid Spotlight number 8, the Dogman. As with most areas around the world, locations are known for a certain type of cryptid, such as Nessius from Scotland, the Mothman from Point Pleasant, West Virginia, the Ropin from Papua New Guinea, and the list goes on. Much the same can normally go for the cryptid known as the Dogman, who is the most commonly found in the state of Michigan. I say normally since there have been multiple reports of similar creatures from all over, including a recent encounter in my state of Pennsylvania. I had received this local report last week, but chose to make a video about it this week. Coincidentally, one of my regular viewers who goes by the name of Eric Ajou 1954, forgive me if I mispronounced that, also requested I cover this topic, so I would be remiss not to mention that input as well. So a big thank you goes out to you also. Reports of dogmen are found in quite a few areas, but for the sake of time I'll mainly focus on reports from Michigan and the one recent one in my home state. I have already made a video about the Beast of Bray Road, and will do one in the future about the Loup-Garou and the Rougarou from Louisiana. Before going into the history and reported sightings, I have to get one major roadblock out of the way that I have stumbled over when considering this topic. What exactly is a dogman, and how is it different from a werewolf? I looked into this topic extensively, and I was shocked to find that even forums set up with cryptids in mind left many people confused, as well as not many knowing about this being. I finally can add a definition behind what the difference between the two actually are. It appears the dogman and werewolf both share the same physical appearances, but the main difference is the dogman is not human-based at all. In that, the normal werewolf was at one point human, who was cursed with their appearance, or in some cases can revert back to human form. A dogman never was human, doesn't have any of the more fantastical attributes such as being affected by the moon or uncharacteristic strength. Another focal point is that in many cases the werewolf retains some minor sense of humanity, while the dogman is strictly animalistic in its behavior. Granted, if you were fortunate, or due to the situation dare I say unfortunate enough, to run across both beings in the woods at the same time, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference just by their physical appearance. I hate to delay this topic any longer, but when dealing with the Michigan Dogman, there is an elephant in the room that must be addressed, and that is the Gable film, which has lasted on the internet longer than it should, due to it being an absolute fake. In 2007, a man who went by the username QuinlanHour12 posted a video reportedly showing a dogman attack that went viral. After gaining a lot of popularity and even being featured on mainstream TV shows as proof, the same man, who is named Mike, came forward to state that his film was of him in a ghillie suit, and that the whole thing was a hoax meant to honor the 1987 Steve Cook song called The Legend about the Michigan Dogman. Open and shut, right? It appears that there are quite a few people who refuse to believe it is in fact a hoax, due to the movement of the creature seeming to be impossible for a human to replicate. So while the whole story has been written off as a hoax, it does still have a large following of people who claim the confession was made due to the evidence being covered up. While many people think about Michigan when the term dogman comes up, the history of the creature predates the area by quite a few thousand years. It is true that through history the idea and reports of dog-headed beings has been quite prevalent in many cultures. The term cynocephaly is the official word for beings with dog heads, and is found in the Chinese literature during the Tang Dynasty in the book The History of the Northern Dynasties, which describes an island with a population entirely of dog-headed creatures. In Egypt, many of the deities were depicted as having candid qualities, but you would be correct in saying that these may be a bit off the mark from what we're discussing here. However, I'd like to bring to light the Wolver, which is found in folk tales of the Shetland Islands, which is off the coast of Scotland, as well as similar references in Irish tales which describes definitely the same thing, which is named Fuila. In the tales, it states the Wolver stayed away from people and chose to live peacefully by himself, but is described to look exactly like a werewolf, but couldn't change shape, nor was he ever human. Sounds very familiar to our current topic. Moving back to the hot spot of activity in the United States, found in Michigan, the story of the Dogman isn't a new occurrence. The Michigan Dogman is described as being a very large canid that can walk around on its hind legs like a human would. In various reports, the eyes are either a typical amber yellow, to some claims even stating that they were in fact blue. According to the legends about this cryptid, it is said to only make appearances in 10-year cycles. The first report of the Dogman occurred in 1887 by two loggers in Wexford County. The men saw what they thought was an abnormally large dog stalking their camp, to which they decided to chase it off. The creature climbed inside a hollowed-out log, and the men then decided to poke it with sharp sticks to rouse it from its hiding spot. The beast let out a strange shriek before erupting from the log and running off on its hind legs. The men ran away as soon as they realized that what they had been poking all along wasn't a dog. In 1937, a man by the name of Robert Fortney was out fishing Muskegon River near the small town of Paris, Michigan. While enjoying his trip, he noticed a pack of 5 wild dogs moving in close to his location. Fearing for his life, he fired his gun towards the pack in order to scare them off, which 4 of them ran away. The 5th, the largest of the 5, stood up on his back legs and walked closer to Robert, all the while staring him down with piercing blue eyes. Once again, Mr. Fortney shot towards the creature, and it finally relented on the attack. In 1961, a night guard for a factory located in Big Rapids, which was near the Haymarsh State Gamelands, noticed something strange moving along the chain-link fence of the facility at 3 o'clock in the morning. At first, the man thought it was a person trying to gain entrance to the facility, but soon realized this being was completely covered in fur and was periodically walking on all 4s and then on its hind legs. He described the creature as being massive, and in fact took a photo of it when the creature crossed by a lamppost. This image should be on your screen at this moment. After the picture was taken, the beast decided to leave the property and head into the nearby forest. A report from 3 men paddling their canoe in a river near the city of Alpena told tale of quite a harrowing encounter. In the mid-1970s, the men were enjoying a relaxing ride down the river when they took notice of a strange large dog running down the shoreline towards them. Not giving it much thought, they turned back to what they were doing when they heard a loud splash sound erupt from where the dog was. It was at this point that they realized the creature was now in the water, swimming frantically towards their canoe. Terrified, the men started paddling faster, and when they looked back again, the creature was now on the shore, running on its back legs trying to chase them down. After paddling even harder to get away, they soon realized the Dogman had given up the chase and they were once again safe. Those are just a few of the reported encounters. Honestly, when I first approached this topic, I thought it might be a little bit lacking in information, but I soon realized that there are almost as many Dogman sightings as there are Bigfoot ones. I found this map that indicates just a handful of areas that have had reports, and you soon see this phenomenon is quite widespread. As mentioned at the beginning of this video, my father-in-law tipped me off to a report that recently was posted, which occurred in Pennsylvania. On July 4th of this year, 2 men were walking down a hiking trail in Bald Eagle State Park when they kept hearing a loud walking noise in the tree line beside the trail. This occurred for quite some time, but they could never get a glimpse of what the being was that was obviously trailing them. Suddenly the noises stopped, and when they turned around, they saw what they originally thought was a bear on the path. Once they got a better look, they realized it wasn't a bear, but a wolf-like being standing on its hind legs. They described it as having short brown fur, a wolf-like head with short pointy ears, and it had yellow eyes. It had broad shoulders, long arms, a narrow waist, and muscular legs that resembled a dog's. The creature stayed where it was, and just stared the 2 men down. It was at that point the men decided to get back to their vehicle, which it reported the Dogman followed them once again, but waited in the tree line while they got into their car. 2 things are interesting about this report. The first being that one of the witnesses is a state park ranger, who chose to withhold his name for fear of ridicule. And the second thing is that, come to find out, lichen reports aren't rare in my state. In fact, I just found out via my friends at the website Phantoms and Monsters that we actually have a Pennsylvania lichen investigations group. Now comes the part that is a bit confounding, and it is found with most cryptids seen around the world. What exactly are these beings? Outside of the physical representation, there are people who view this cryptid as a spirit being. With this thought, it is claimed that the reason behind their obscurity is due to the fact that they are spirits that take the form of lichen only when they enter our plane of existence. I'm not sure about all that, but it is a common theory when dealing with an elusive creature that is said to roam the forests. Oddly enough, I didn't see any alien links with this one, which is also extremely rare. So what do you think of the dogmen sightings? Are they misidentified animals, or is there something more to it? As always, I would appreciate if you would click that subscribe button, as I post content on the topics of paranormal, hauntings, strange locations, and a lot on cryptids every Sunday. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to click that like button as well, since it greatly helps my channel out. I'd also like to mention that I do have a Patreon page as well that I quasi-regularly post content on exclusively to that site, which normally deals with behind the scenes stuff. I'll add a link to it in the description below for anyone that's interested in that. With that, be safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.